Welcome back to LOA, the channel where we talk about all things law of attraction. And this is part 2 of managing your emotions. In part 1, we talked about how emotions are always in motion and there is a momentum that takes you either up the emotional scale or down the emotional scale. And we talked about, of course, how all emotions are a frequency and that those feelings are an internal guidance system for us. That we're not to judge ourselves for having any kind of feeling, but we need to take a temperature. Do we want this feeling? And realize that as the longer you're in a feeling, it will grow. An experience with a bad feeling can turn into a mood can turn into a temperament, and a temperament can turn into a personality. So we focus mainly on the first way to manage your emotions is your internal dialogue, because you don't listen to anyone more than yourself. So if you can learn to first become very aware of your emotions and then be able to sift and sort if that emotion is something you want to continue to experience, then you go into the internal dialogue and talk yourself through it, either up the scale. I don't know very many people that want to go down the scale, so we'll say talking yourself up through the emotions. So basically, maybe you're angry and you need to then just get frustrated, annoyed, indifferent, and just kind of slowly move up the emotional scale to where it doesn't bother you anymore. Because there are many, many ways to manage these emotions. So you are keeping your vibration clean, you're staying in alignment with what you want to create. And that's what I'm going to go over today, is some other ways, techniques, or coping skills, whatever you want to call them, on how to manage your emotions. Okay, so now I'm going to give you a list of things you can do to manage your emotions. Number 1 is find something you love to do. Love is the strongest energy, and it will combat and transform any bad energy. Simple as that. So you know what that is in your life, something that brings you joy, something you love to do, and there's no limit to it, small or big, because the purpose and the reason you're doing this is just to change your emotions. So sometimes it takes a very little thing, and other times it takes a bigger thing. So you would know. Find something you love and enjoy. The second one, number 2, is gratitude. That is also a very strong positive energy that will help transform you out of an energy that you do not enjoy, a negative energy. So what I've done in the past is I've created a jar where I've put anything in this jar. I write it on a piece of paper, an experience that made me feel really blessed or happy, or something I manifested. So when I need to be cheered up or reminded of all the great things that are really in my life, I'm just maybe at the moment feeling very closed in and narrow-minded, I open one of these up and read it, and it puts a smile on my face, and it transports you back into that time where you felt really good, and that is powerful. So just making a list, if you don't have a jar, that's something you're going to start, and write down things that are positive, things that you're grateful for. It's kind of like counting your blessings, right? You could be grateful for family members or a loved one who's done really sweet, special things for you. Technology and all the ways that just makes life so easy. There's so many positive aspects of our life. This is a good time to, when you're in a good mood, write down some things so then you can later on use it to reference. Number 3, breathing. Take a few deep breaths. You might be in a situation where you can't really get away, but taking a few deep breaths can really help change that energy. It actually also ignites a pharmacy inside your body when you do deep breathing. So 3 or 4 deep breaths are really going to get you going in the right direction. And if you are at the point where you can step away, go into where you can take several deep breaths. 30 deep breaths, and then you hold your last one for as long as you can, to where you're feeling like you're underwater in a contest, holding your breath for as long as you can, and then let it out. If you can do that once, twice, or 3 times, however long you think you need, the pharmacy that will be just released in you, whatever you need, is going to help you physically and mentally. I've used this many, many times to actually heal myself of cold, stomach aches, so many things, because it truly releases a pharmacy within you. 4, meditate. Go into a very quiet, still place and just try to empty your mind, bringing your energy down out of the beta waves that just really kind of fights off any change of thought or mood, and calm yourself down and be still, so you're down into the delta waves or even theta waves that allows you to bring in a change of thought, and then you can change your mood. So meditation, also in the attitude of prayer, really kind of brings your mind out of the now and then starts seeing a brighter future, because you're asking for something to be different and to change, and your faith makes you believe it's coming. So that is also a really good way to change your emotions, is just pray and start asking for what you want, and then you can start feeling as if it already was happening. The next one is fasting, and I don't mean it just in the literal traditional sense where you fast from eating food. That has its benefits. It will definitely change the molecular structure of your body and help then resonate at a different frequency and help detox your body. That could be what is causing certain feelings and emotions, because we often react to food, but I want to look at it in a broader sense, much more necessary and often ignored. We need to fast from complaining, from gossiping, because all these actions have lower energy vibrations. And sometimes you need to actually fast from people. They're the ones that might be more negative, and they just know how to scoop you in and draw you into the wrong thought processes. There's also toxic activities that you might need to fast from. It could be watching the news, going on different social medias or certain pages of people. You will know. Take inventory of what is not serving you and it's being a little bit more toxic and negative. You don't want to add that to your life, right? The next is learning something new. You're using a whole nother set of neurons when you're learning, and this will also change the frequencies and the structure of your body and your mind. So learn a new language, try to learn a craft, just really learn something new. You can kind of wield that action into what you know you like and what you feel drawn to. The next one is music. Listen to something that soothes you if you're feeling stress and anxiety. If you're feeling a little bit more melancholy or depressed, find something a little bit more upbeat and that gets you really wanting to dance. Just find something that, gives you those good vibes. The next one is go into nature. Going into nature does wonders, especially, the sunshine with all that vitamin D can just rejuvenate you and just feed your body, which in turn feeds your soul and your mind. Also, I don't know if you guys know this, but my new obsession is waterfalls. But basically any moving water, whether it be waterfalls or waves, it has negative ions that actually, when we receive it, turns into it positively affects us. So those negative ions actually have been proven to reduce depression. So Go into nature or find some moving water. Another one is do something creative or exercise. So I love the creative process for myself personally. I love to decorate and rearrange my room or go for the seasons. I have this mantle. I just change into different decor for each season. And that just really helps shift and change my mood is when I'm creative. Or just sometimes you need to just exercise, unclog or remove that feeling of being stuck in an emotion. Just actually literally physically move your body. Go walk, do yoga, Zumba. I used to love doing Zumba because it's an exercise and it's fun and it's got the music. So there's a lot of components all in one. Go to a dance class. You can fill in the blank of what something creative or exercise is for you. This is another fun one. Go out with a friend. One of those friends who always knows how to cheer you up. You laugh, you have a good time. They just take your mind off of things. Not the friend that you go and you rehash and you talk about your problems. That's not the friend you're supposed to be dialing right now. No. Find that friend that cheers you up and just knows how to just get you right out of a bad funk. This is something else that I have found very helpful. I kind of see it as a positive way to brainwash myself. I really kind of see it as I'm scrubbing and washing and cleaning my brain and my thoughts. But listen to a very inspirational podcast or read a book. You know, these things will help get your mind thinking and going in a different direction because, again, it's all about momentum. You're trying to move up the scale, the emotional scale. The next one is something that it comes more natural to others, but it's grace. Put yourself in that person's shoes and think of things that might have made them do that. Extending that grace and mercy by maybe giving them an excuse. Oh, they probably just received some really bad news, or they probably cut me off because they're running late, or they're from another state and didn't know they needed to turn and they made a quick action. Just put the benefit of the doubt and see it from that other person's perspective and don't judge their motives. Actually give them a motive that would help soothe you and justify the action, basically. That's what that's what grace and mercy is basically giving a forgiveness that doesn't really feel deserved, but it's definitely a charitable action. On our case is to just not judge that situation and assume the best, that they didn't mean to do it, that there was no ill intent. All right, I hope my list of things you could do to manage your emotions are going to be helpful for you and that you can put them into practice and start steering and aiming your momentum to go up the emotional scale. Because we so often really pay attention to our physical health, but our mental health is just as important. I might even argue that it's more important because it actually is the root of so many physical ailments. So be maniacal. Be so protective to guard your heart and mind that you're always allowing the things you want in and deal with the things you don't. It's going to pay off big time, guys. It's life-changing. You'll see results immediately, but they'll build and get bigger, and you'll start seeing that things become more of a habit and not so much work. You'll just naturally be pulled to the things that will keep you in alignment. I'll leave you with this one last quote. If you're not being defined by the vision of the future, you will be defined by the thoughts of your past. So that concludes part 2 of managing your emotions. Until next time, enjoy the journey within.